I didn't tell anyone. I told no one. I didn't tell my friends. I didn't tell my family. I was embarrassed.
Linda Giacomo is a retired child clinical psychologist. She was a grad student at Michigan State University in the 70s and now lives in Minnesota, where she's watched the Nassar investigation unfold.
Lo and behold, I saw my old graduate student advisor and master's co-chair, Gary Stolak.
For the first time, she's going public about her own experience with the former psychology professor.
It was verbal, it was one time, but I was in a meeting with him and he suddenly said, "Oh, by the way, do you masturbate?" And I was just shocked and speechless.
Here to provide an interpretation of
this is video of Stolak from 1975, around the time Giacomo was his student. Fast forward several decades, and the state has found Stolak failed to report Nassar in 2004, when Kyle Stevens disclosed the abuse during a session her parents set up with him. Seeing Stevens and Stolak in court prompted Giacomo to contact her alma mater last November. Target 8 uncovered her redacted email and documents obtained from the university. It details the interaction she remembers with the professor decades later.
I wanted it to be emotionally powerful, but also accurate. And if you have the actual statement, then they can make their own judgment.
She says after Stolak made the inappropriate statement, she brought different professors on to her master's committee, avoiding Stolak as much as possible until she finished the program.
A professor has a lot of power, and in graduate school that's 1,000-fold, because instead of class size of 100, you're now class size of 12, and we had no family that could rescue us financially, and so it was those pressures that kept me silent. This is 41 years later, and I'm still angry about it.
Giacomo has documented everything that's happened since she first contacted the university. Campus police did follow up, and she's been told there's now an investigation through the Office of Institutional Equity, but it's now been nearly 11 months since she's heard from anyone.
How do you feel about them not having any follow-up with you since November?
I don't like it, but I also understand that this investigation is very complicated.
Stolak retired in 2010 after working at MSU for 47 years. During Nassar's preliminary hearing in February 2017, he told the judge he suffered a stroke and now has memory issues, including that he couldn't remember treating Stevens years ago. There's no mention of accusations from students in Stolak's personnel file from MSU, but there is evidence that Stolak was not meeting expectations. This performance document from 2005 threatened to terminate him as a faculty member for incompetence if he did not strengthen his teaching impact. We tried speaking with him at his home in East Lansing, but we were told he was not available.
How does his conduct reflect on Michigan State, in your opinion?
It would depend on how much of his colleagues knew about his behavior.
Several questions still remain about whether Stolak was allegedly inappropriate with other female students, but Giacomo is adamant her experience as a student, coupled with the countless other accusations made against MSU personnel over the last 2 years, speaks to a culture at MSU that enabled Nassar for years.
All of these things add up to a permissive environment for sexual abuse and predators to roam freely, because there's too much at stake. They don't want to hurt the reputation